Some breaking news out of Green Bay. It has happened. The Packers are now releasing David Bakhtiari. Now, I'm going to be honest. This is something that I didn't expect to happen this soon. I did expect it to happen. I expected the Packers to move on from David Bakhtiari just due to the $40 million cap hit he was set to have in 2024. But I was here wondering what's going to happen if they release him now because he's still technically injured, and then he could file an injury grievance towards the Green Bay Packers. But it has officially happened, so maybe there's something that was talked between them where that won't happen, and Bakhtiari can look to play elsewhere in 2024. Wow, I was not expecting to have this come out the morning of free agency. I was expecting to make a video on potentially a free agent that the Packers were signing or looking at or something of that sort. Like I said, this isn't a shock to me. It's just the timing is a little bit of a shock. But the Packers will be without David Bakhtiari in 2024. Bakhtiari released the news himself, posting on Twitter a little video and basically a paragraph thanking the Green Bay Packers. I'll go over it right now. A lot of emotion in this. I just want to say thank you, Green Bay. Thank you for the last 11 years. It's been a hell of a run. I always wanted to raise a Lombardi on Lombardi Avenue, but I will never complain. I gave it my all. I always gave it my best, no matter the circumstance. And to me, that truly was enough. My 32-year-old self is so damn proud of that 21-year-old with no facial hair, bushy tail kid that just wanted to do his best. I'm so proud of you. For whatever happens next, I look forward to it. To the city and the fans all across the world, I just want to say thank you. To the entire organization, thank you. To the coaching staffs, thank you. To the entire support staff, thank you. To my wife and daughter, Frankie and Felix, I hope you are proud. To my family, Debbie, Carl, Eric, Andrew, and Danielle, I hope I represented our name with pride these past 11 years in Green Bay. I cannot thank everyone, so I hope this post will suffice. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Man, that is a heart-touching goodbye from David Bakhtiari to Green Bay, and it does make me sad a little bit. You know, we kind of get stuck in the business side of things a lot. At least I do when looking at football, because that's, you know, the offseason. That's the business side of football, is looking at the contracts of players and why they need to be released, like Devondre Campbell yesterday, and why it won't work for the future. But you sometimes forget the personal side, or you sometimes kind of overlook the personal side. And man, David Bakhtiari was the definition of a Green Bay Packer. I mean, this dude, you know, gave it his all when he could. And, you know, the injury is very unfortunate. You know, it was right before an NFC Championship game. Maybe the Packers end up going to the Super Bowl and Bakhtiari ends up raising the Lombardi on Lombardi Ave if he doesn't end up with that ACL. Maybe the Packers go to more Super Bowls after that if Bakhtiari is healthy and never tears that ACL. These are all what-if situations, and sadly, that is just not the way it went. He's been struggling with this ACL for 3 years now. And finally, it's just something that really can't be overcome from the Green Bay Packers standpoint, considering how much money they were going to be paying David Bakhtiari, or already have paid, honestly, but for primarily 2024, the last year of his deal. His cap hit was set to be $40 million, and that was with the uncertainty of if he'd be able to play. And if he did, how much will he play? Because last year it looked very promising. Hey, David Bakhtiari's back. He's practicing. Everything looks great. He plays week 1, has an awesome game, flips off the Bears fans. Everything looks great. And then he doesn't play another game in the entire season, and now he's not part of the Green Bay organization. So I'll say this. Thank you to David Bakhtiari for everything you gave to the Green Bay Packers, one of the best left tackles in the NFL, and he will go down as one of the best tackles for the Green Bay Packers in their history. That's for sure. I mean, from a 4th-round pick out of Colorado, coming into this Green Bay team, having to start early on and just transforming into this amazing all-pro left tackle, it was a joy to watch. It was a joy to watch his antics with Aaron Rodgers and the goofy things they do on and off the field. That was always a fun thing for this Packers team, and he definitely will be missed. That type of vibe, that mentality, that guy in the locker room, I'm sure will be missed. Now the Packers move on to Rasheed Walker at left tackle. You know, they likely are now going to be looking at a tackle/guard, you know, versatile guy in the draft early on. That was always my expectance for the Packers in this draft, is to pick up someone maybe like a Graham Barton who, you know, can play tackle, can play point guard can play center. We'll see how that exactly goes. But my next thing to kind of go over is, what does this mean for the Packers salary cap? I made a video last night going over the Devondre Campbell release and how that's going to save them $10.5 million on the salary cap. That is set to happen officially on Wednesday when the new league year starts. Now, the Packers haven't officially released David Bakhtiari in terms of their team announcing the transaction, but clearly that is happening. So now let's go over what the Packers' total salary cap will look like given no injury grievance with both the Devondre Campbell and the Bakhtiari release. All right, so right now, before the David Bakhtiari release, we already included the Devondre Campbell post June 1st designated release. The Packers have $24.2 million in cap space. You see Bakhtiari's deal up here, that $40 million cap hit. Now, he's a cut pre-June 1st. It doesn't matter because it is the last year of his deal, so there's really no difference. We see dead money would incur $19 million dead because of his bonus that he's owed, that $19 million. But with a release, they're getting rid of all that base salary, that $20 million. So if we go ahead and submit that, David Bakhtiari is released. The Packers are now up to $45 million in cap space. And I know a lot of people earlier this offseason will go, the Packers have no money. They can't make any splashes in free agency. Well, look how much that just changed just by releasing Devondre Campbell and releasing David Bakhtiari. The Packers at $45 million in cap space. And yes, they're going to need to use some of that to extend Jordan Love, but his cap hit in 2024 won't change that much. Are they still going to adjust Aaron Jones' cap number? This makes it a little bit more manageable that they're getting rid of Bakhtiari. They're getting rid of Devondre Campbell. They can always restructure Jair to push a little bit more money out and gain more money this year if they want to go and make some splashes in free agency. I'm going to make a video in a little bit here today going over the big updates for the Green Bay Packers on the day one of free agency. Obviously, it's still happening, so bigger things could happen, but there are some tidbits of news quickly to go over. One, the Packers are seemingly interested in Xavier McKinney at safety, and then another piece of news came out that he was reportedly looking for $16 million annually at safety, which is a very, very high number for safeties nowadays. But, if the Packers have the money and they want to go get their starting guy, their safety, that's, 24, turning 25 years old, that would be the way to do it. And now they have the money to do it. Let me know what you think of this release down in the comments below. We can all pretty much say we expected this to happen. It was just a matter of when. It didn't look like Bakhtiari would take a pay cut. It didn't look like he'd add void years on his deal, and I wouldn't want the Packers to do that anyways. At the end of the day, Bakhtiari played 13 out of a possible 54 games in the last 3 years. The best ability is availability, and Bakhtiari was simply not available, and the Packers had to move on. So I hope Bakhtiari does well wherever he heads next, likely the New York Jets, but hopefully that all works out for him and he can finally get back onto the football field. But I appreciate you guys coming by. Everything Green Bay Packers will be here on this channel, so all updates, free agency, and of course every other news such as the release of David Bakhtiari, salary cap news, and the draft as we get closer to that, all here on this channel. So definitely go down and click subscribe if you haven't already. But I appreciate you guys coming by. I'll catch you on the next one, and as always, go Pack Go.